Professor Roy Isbell, welcome. And I think I'm right in saying you are the chairman of the security panel, and so you're in the spotlight today. First of all, would you like to tell me a bit about your personal background and how and when you joined the company?
I joined the company back in about 2006, 2007. But my history in cybersecurity, I suppose, goes back further now. I mean, I'm originally a military man. I spent 20 years in the Royal Corps Signals, which is where I learned my engineering trade, I suppose. And when data started coming in the mid-80s, that's when I moved over to doing secure data systems and information systems. I left in the early 90s and set up my own business with a friend of mine, continuing the information security world. And at that time, we were doing lots of Ministry of Defence, government systems, and the finance sector. They were the major users of a lot of the information systems at that time. We ran that for about 10 years, were very successful, and eventually sold it to an American multinational, where I went and spent 3 years traveling the world, ending up as a VP for Global Government Services, acting as an ambassador for the company, talking to...
So how did you become a professor?
That's an honorary title, so it's a visiting professor. Towards the end of the period, I wrote off to some universities saying, look, I'm looking for my next sort of career, if you like. Would you like me to come along and do some guest lectures on information security and business, etc.? And one of the universities said, come to lunch. And I always call it the most expensive lunch I never paid for. But we established the first cybersecurity center at a university, and they, in return, gave me an honorary professorship.
Ah, right. And so tell me, how did you become when and how did you join the panel, and how did you become the chairman, sort of thing? What was your progression?
Well, it seemed a natural thing to do when Patricia Drakes, I think it was, that originally set the panel up. I finished doing my world travels in about 2009, got more back involved with delivery, and it just seemed a natural thing to do to get involved with the security panel. It was what I did. So to lend my knowledge and experience to it. And then Philip Virgo took it over from Patricia in about 2010. And I took over in 2015 from Philip. So I think by rights, I'm probably coming to the end of my limit of tenure as chair.
Oh, well, anyway, tell me, what does it do, the security panel?
The security panel, it's a very busy panel, and we have quite a number of members who are interested in this field. And we tend to have an inward and an outward facing view, if you like. We've been inward facing to try and help the liver itself get its own security policy put in place. And that really ramped up over the last sort of 18 months, 2 years, with the implementation of the new CRM, the move over to Teams, and even more so when COVID struck, we very quickly responded and put some guidance notes together. So inwardly looking, and we're going to be carrying on, and that's done in relation with the technology panel. We're working with the clerk to now sort of set up a small group that's going to be specifically looking after technology for the hall, but from an implementation and security perspective. So our gaze is going to be more shifting to the outward and charitable view. And what have we been doing? So the largest activity that we've had over the last 4 or 5 years is the helping to establish the new Cybersecurity Council, which is a government initiative to set up a professional organisation, professional body to look after all cybersecurity professionals. That project actually comes to a close at the end of March, and it's been very successful. We're looking for the council to be stood up from the 1st of April with a launch event, etc. We've been involved with, so that's DCMS. We've also been involved with the Home Office. And our involvement there started around helping to educate some of the Home Office people on future crimes. So we held a couple of round tables inviting law enforcement business within the hall. And that's moved on where we've been helping the strategy departments in the Home Office understand cyber so they can build it into some of the policies that they're writing. And that's had some spin-offs, because from that we managed to get Maxine's AI4C involved with an awful lot more charities, which the Home Office tend to look after. So that's a big bonus from that one. And also now we're sort of linking up the skills agenda, because we had a piece of work going on with skills for quite some time, and community safety, but from a cyber perspective. Again with the Home Office, but that's also linking back to DCMS. So one of the things that I like to see us do is, we start off these little activities, but then how do we join them up to make a bigger whole?
Do you have any non-government activities, or are they largely focused on government at the moment?
No, we do. We have a number of relationships. So we have a relationship with the City of London Police. We have a relationship with a number of universities, mainly because the security panel members are related to universities, Cambridge, and so
how many members have you got? How many members?
That's fluctuating. It depends on which list you look at, Mark. Sometimes.
How many active members, should we say, roughly?
We normally get between 20 and 30 that turn up to the panel meetings.
Oh, that's good. That's very good.
Active. Yeah, no, it's very good.
And are you looking for more members?
Always.
And
there's so much work to do in this space. I'm always on the lookout for
do they have to have cybersecurity qualifications, or?
No, in fact, sometimes it's better not to have. We want people who are interested, I think, and what we have actually had is a number of members that have joined who want to learn about cybersecurity, and actually that's an activity that we're thinking of taking forward. Is how can we mentor some of our own members within within their own business spheres, about the cybersecurity impact within their own business units. So
and do you do some projects and pro bono stuff for Steve Smith?
We have done. We've just had a request that we're fulfilling for the IT for Arts people. Right. So one of their members came to IT for Arts panel, and Martin reached out. So yes, one of our panel members is now helping them on their cybersecurity problems.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So we really covered most of them. What would you consider your greatest achievement recently?
There's quite a few. I mean, the council's a big achievement. The linking up work that we're doing with the Home Office is also another huge achievement. And what I would say is a big achievement for the members of the panel is their response to COVID. To a man and woman, the panel just stood up and said, right, what do we do in order to help this to move forward? And they got involved with not just guidance documents, but the whole sort of fraud activity that's been a result of COVID. We've had a number of activities helping that out, and that's working with a number of charities like Age Concern, Citizens Advice, and people like this, just to give them an additional bit of horsepower.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you very much. I think we've covered all our agenda, and so thank you for taking the time to talk to me this afternoon.
You're very welcome, Mark. Good to see you.